Chris Murphy-led Democratic filibuster in the Senate has apparently achieved its goal after less than 1 day. There is going to be a vote, although no certainty of passage of certain gun control measures. Senator Chris Murphy and fellow Senate Democrats officially relinquished the floor of the Senate early Thursday morning after spending nearly 15 hours straight talking about gun control, paving the way for high-profile congressional votes on restricting firearms. The chamber is likely to vote on 2 Democratic-backed gun measures: a proposal from Senator Dianne Feinstein of California meant to bar those on federal terror watch lists from obtaining firearms, and a plan from Murphy and Senators Cory Booker and Chuck Schumer mandating background checks for sales at gun shows and over the internet. Republicans are expected to put forward 2 of their own proposals for votes as well. And I believe that we have a short video showing a bit of the end of Chris Murphy's filibuster. So let's take a look at that.
Ask yourself, what can you do to make sure that Orlando or Sandy Hook never, ever happens again? With deep gratitude to all of those who have endured this very, very late night, I yield the floor.
And so you saw there him standing next to the picture of one of the victims of the attacks he was citing there. And so great work by the Democrats there, both forcing the country and the media to take a hard look at this. Many in the wake of Orlando, after processing the grief, even including myself, the expectation is this should be enough to force us to act, but I have no faith whatsoever that it will force us to act. And this is the Hail Mary that could potentially get what has to be seen as the bare minimum legislative response to what happened. The idea that we should have to stage a filibuster just for the small chance that we could stop people the FBI thinks could be active terrorists to not be able to buy some of these guns. Or that maybe if somebody, instead of going into a store, goes through the incredibly inconvenient process of buying a gun online, that they should probably be checked in as well. That is what we have now. Just a small chance of having passed is pathetic, but that's America's problem. This is what we have.
You said it's a small chance. Maybe you can't give me a number, but what chance do you think there is? Because I think it's still 0. At least this has changed where now they at least get to vote and show us how much they don't want to do it. Like on record, rather than verbally on television shows and on the floor when they decide to say, no, we don't want to put that in, we don't want to actually vote on that because of freedom. So I don't know, I guess I was encouraged. When I heard about it, I was like, oh, great. It actually, 14 hours and 50 minutes. They stopped at 2:10 in the morning when they finally stopped and finally made some strides. And I was thinking, wait a second, what were those strides again? Well,
the stride is the pledge that there will at least be a vote, because up until now there wasn't going to be.
And there's a vote, and it's going to be no, and then
it could be, but at least forcing them to vote, that puts them on the record. And right now, a week after, or less than a week after the worst mass shooting in American history, they don't want to be on the record. Now, many will still vote no because of the actual power of the NRA and the perceived power, which I think is overblown, of the NRA. But there are some Republicans who keep implying that they're in favor of these moves, but will never get a vote. Well, now is a chance for them to vote. These shouldn't be hard. All of these measures that are being considered are incredibly popular. It's difficult to come up with a policy in America that is more popular. Even banning assault rifles, which many conservatives find to be 10 steps past anything conceivable, has majority support in America. Full background checks, universal on every kind of sale, and stopping people on the terrorist watch list, these are not even close to controversial positions in America.